What is good, Josh on this full game, man? Back, man. You already know what time it is, man. It's time for our weekly NFL Power Rankings reaction. Reacting to them, reacting to the show. And at least reacting to them explaining. I really feel like it's more or less like not even a reaction show. It's more or less like them breaking down the decisions that he makes, right? And so we're going to see if we agree with him. Of course, hit the subscribe button, like the video if you guys want more sports content to the channel. That'll let me know that you guys want to see more of it, and it helps push it out to other people that are also sports fans. So, if you want to support me in the channel, hopefully you guys can notice a difference in the audio quality. Did get a new microphone, y'all can actually kind of see now from the angle I got it at right here. Brand new mic that actually it unmutes itself when I hit the tap of the button. So at least maybe we'll make the audio sound a little bit better if we have like crazy noise going on and stuff like that. I just want to mute myself really quick so it's not getting in the way of the actual video, which will now sound 10 times better. So with all that being said, though, let's go ahead and jump straight into this video, see what they're talking about, see who our new number one is. After Buffalo losing last week, I got a feeling they got to slide, right? Or this Kansas City almost lost to the Raiders yet again, almost losing. Keep them at a good pace. Me personally, I probably still put Kansas City over them, but we might have two NFC teams on top of the list. Let's see what they're talking about, though.
Yeah, it is. Like the idea being, look, if you're in a lot of close games and you sort of lose more than you normally would win, your overall win percentage, maybe you're a better team than your record indicates. Likewise, if you're winning all in one score games like the Chiefs 10-0 this season, perhaps it's indicative that you're overachieving a little bit. So I try to use that to kind of separate.
That's like the same thing as saying you lucky, but you keep being lucky every day. At some point, it ain't luck no more. At some point, you just good at winning when you're supposed to win. And I mean, 10-0. At what point do we stop calling it lucky and just say, okay, they might be winning one-score games, but they are for sure clutch and can know how to hold the door down.
All right, you mentioned the top 8. Let's get to the rankings right now. And the number one team.
All right, so let's go ahead and read it here. We got the Detroit Lions at number 1, staying there, of course. Eagles, told you. Number 2, I always jump them up to as well. Chiefs do jump up. Bills drop down 2 spots. Vikings staying at 5. I'm actually okay with. I think Buffalo could beat Minnesota. Pittsburgh, I think I would flip-flop those two. Packers drop down 1. Ravens staying at 8. So mine, if y'all want my opinion, I would go Detroit, Philly, Kansas City, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Green Bay, Baltimore. That's my top 8 right there. Just because I feel like in a one-on-one battle, I think the Steelers could pull one out against Minnesota. I'm not a Minnesota believer. There might be slight hate bias in there off of Minnesota, but I do think they kind of would be like a one-and-done situation here, and especially if they had to play Pittsburgh. Of all teams, I do feel like Pittsburgh would come out on top. Buffalo, I think, showed a little weakness last week. We'll see if they show it again this week because they do have to play the... Is it Detroit this week? I think it's Detroit. They're playing one of the top teams. I think it's Detroit again this week. So this will be a great chance for them to show that they can take down two of the best teams in the league, the Chiefs and the Lions. Or the Lions will continue to show their dominance and continue to show why they're number 1 and really solidify their case as Super Bowl favorites in my eye, or in everybody's eyes, really, but solidified in my eyes for sure. I have them for sure winning it. Or not for sure winning it, but they're my favorites. But let me know down below, who are y'all Super Bowl favorites right now? Are they even a part of this top 8? And who's your matchup?
Time for Team of the Week. It's presented by Truist. The team that starts the show is the Detroit Lions, number 1 here. I love how Dan Campbell sometimes roll the dice here, and he'll go for it on 4th down. The fact that they were able to score 2 touchdowns on a 4th down, I absolutely love. To me, Eric, there's a reason why you have them as the number 1 team. They're showing.
And see, y'all be trying to say, like, I don't be realistic in my rebuilds. When I be wanting to go for it on 4th down, when I actually be on the 6th playing, I'm just Dan Campbell before Dan Campbell was. But I'm a very aggressive coach. I be going for it on 4th and short. And it's a close game. Heck, we going to punt for it. 4th and 1, 4th and 2. Let's go get that first down. Now, 4th and 3 through 5, we kind of get a little iffy. And anywhere past 5, let's go ahead and punt them up.
Absolutely, Mike. And you know, some people would say, hey, they won by a field goal here. They won by a field goal on Thanksgiving. What's the difference? I felt like this was A, a better opponent, and B, just a better game. You know, they're decimated on defense. They're hanging in there as best they can on that side of the ball. We know what the offense can do even when the run game isn't flourishing. I mean, they have ways to beat you. So many different directions they can go, but also a big night on special teams too. So it really kind of emphasized not only the 3-phase element of this team, so well built from top to bottom, but also that aggressiveness. It cost them once on 4th down, but they were successful 4 times, and that's just the formula for a champion. They're built to withstand one of those misses because the earlier hits really kind of saved them.
Now all of a sudden, they're coming off a win. A little close, though, against the Carolina Panthers squad.
That was surprising to me. almost losing to Carolina. Nah, I get it. They are playing a lot better. This is a very different Bryce. Team could be very, very scary next year if they make the right moves in drafting and get a couple free agency pieces. It'll be a very scary team, especially in the division that's already very weak right now. So, don't know what the future looks like. But the fact that they almost beat Philadelphia, and I do feel like they have a strong chance to actually put some high alert teams on notice here, be upsets here to end out the last 4 weeks of the season. So that's why I understand the 1-2 ranking right here. I mean, almost if they had lost that game, they would have had a plummet, though. That would have been a straight drop.
Yeah, had I known kind of the backstory of the whole A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts tension, if you will, I might not have moved them up a spot this week. They still belong in that top tier in the NFL, I believe, until further notice. Like you said, until recently, we were talking about them as truly one of the elite teams, maybe even better than the Lions in some regards. But yeah, there still is this hurdle they seemingly have to get over every single week, where the first quarter, they've been outscored, I think, something like 59-17. They outscored their opponents by 150 points the last 3 quarters. But for whatever reason, the slow starts have been a problem. A.J. Brown only had 4 targets last week. That's got to get better. Is there a rift there between Hurts and Brown? Are they tight? Can they make this thing work? It does scare you because you know all the drama that existed in that locker room a year ago. But I still think, until proven otherwise, they belong near the top.
Hey, by the way, this defense is balling. For as much as we want to talk about Saquon Barkley, who could be the MVP this year. In fact, he's on the short list, right? One of 3 guys, at least in my mind, that should win that award this season.
Especially if he breaks the record.
The Achilles heel last year was they couldn't stop people, especially that secondary. That is flipped in a meaningful way. Eagles, I think you have them right where they should be at the number 2 spot. And for sure. I'm ready for some hate from Kansas City fans, who you have number 3. Another 1 possession.
There should be no hate coming from KC. Like I said, although at what point do we stop calling it luck or not, y'all are still winning 1-score games and not looking dominant. The other 2 teams, granted, had close games this past week, have looked dominant all season. They deserve 1 and 2 right now. Y'all haven't looked dominant. Y'all have getting it done. Y'all are clutch, and I do think you'll be there when it's all said and done. But in the Super Bowl, taking the other 2 teams first. Like, this is Detroit and Philly year. It's somebody in the NFC side, I feel like, is taking it. One of them 2 teams. Unless otherwise shown different in these last 4 weeks of the season.
I would love to just be able to have this kind of luck one day in my life. Yes. I do think there was less luck in this one. I understand the doink field goal, but I felt like the Chiefs at least controlled the script of this game better than they have in the past. Let's say the Panthers game or the Broncos or Raiders games. They made the stop on defense, put it back in Patrick Mahomes' hands. He made some magic. He moved them down the field. They intentionally ran the clock down to take that kick. It's their, backup kicker. So obviously the kick itself got a little scrutiny, but this team knows how to win games. They have a formula. They've been in these situations so many times. That's why they're 10-0 in these situations. And yeah, just for a little extra drama, right? They hadn't really done it to this point in the game, and they finish it off again. I don't know when this runs out. I don't know if this is a sign that they can beat virtually anybody in a schematic battle, or if they're just gonna stop turning over aces every single time they're at the table. It's gonna be fascinating, but last year proved that they can still do pretty well in the playoffs after a lot of close shaves in the regular season. Yeah, I suppose there's a certain irony about MVP candidate Allen helping his cause in a loss more than he maybe has in a lot of wins this year. But, the Buffalo defense did concern me. Allen was great. He did everything possible, to dig them out of that hole. Obviously, his receivers did a lot of work after the catch, too. Got to give them credit. But Allen, as a runner and as a passer, was absolutely tremendous. And look, nobody's denying it. He's going to be the reason whether they win a Super Bowl or don't win a Super Bowl this year. Such an important piece of what they do and such a tough piece to stop. That said,
I don't know if you can say he's going to be the reason they don't, because he put up 6 touchdowns in this game and they lost. That's defense.
Defense isn't doing its job. We've got problems, and more often than not, they've done their job this year. But a precision passer, 15 or 11 of 15 on third downs. I mean, Matthew Stafford was carving them up, and that is a concern for me. But this, like you said, I think this game probably meant more to the Rams than it did to the Bills. And so, 2 spots seems like a lot. I still have them near the top, and I think they can even be a number 1 team by the end of the regular season.
Only thing, and I'd love to get your take very quickly on this. The Bills on the road, people are talking about, hey, do they need home field advantage in the postseason? I would contend that they do, even though some others might say no. At Houston, at Baltimore, at the Rams. they're losing some road games against good teams. We'll get a good test against, obviously, the Lions because that's a road game this coming week. But
I have an L for the
I think there's
Buffalo
some pressure here on Josh Allen and this team to try to do their best here, and it's a little out of their hands because of Kansas City's run. But I think Buffalo needs home field.
Yeah, right. Obviously, it does hurt them, the loss from that standpoint. And Kansas City does have that big lead at this point, even with the Buffalo win in the head-to-head game. So got to keep trying. Got to see if you can steal it from them down the stretch.
Yeah, I love that you have the Vikings at number 5. Are they the team that we talk the least amount that we should be talking way more about?
Their record suggests so, doesn't it? I mean, look, 11-2, you can't really argue with what they've done on the field, kind of like we were talking about with the Chiefs, or maybe it's memories of 2 years ago, the 2022 Vikings, who went 13-4, but had a negative point differential. I think this team has been more impressive in how it's won games. Yes, there have been some close ones. Chicago a few weeks back obviously got a little bit lucky there. Some other games, too, that got away from them earlier in this season, like the Lions game. But still, the way Sam Darnold is playing now, I think the narrative has changed on him. It's no longer, can they win with him? Is this guy even a dark horse MVP candidate at this point? Top 5 in passing yards, passing touchdowns, has really been on a heater lately, done the job.
Slow that down, buddy boy. We're not putting Sam Darnold in MVP conversation. Sorry.
A few hiccups early in the season, but I don't have as many doubts now. And boy, do the Vikings just let him walk in the offseason? I guess that's a discussion for down the road, but he's playing at a super high level, and that Vikings defense did enough against Kirk Cousins, old friend there in Minnesota, to get the win. Yeah, I keep getting these questions. I go on radio shows, Mike, and people say, are the Steelers a legit Super Bowl contender? And I feel like it's a bit of an odd question. And my answer is always, why the heck not, right? I mean, they've got an outstanding defense. A couple of Defensive Player of the Year award candidates in T.J. Watt and Cameron Hayward, who's having an amazing season, almost 36 years old. So, what they do on that side of the ball, they're going to take care of business more often than not. The offense has shown signs that they can cook on their best days, maybe a little hot and cold at times. Special teams have been outstanding. Chris Boswell and the rest of that unit has been terrific this season. So another kind of 3-phase operation that I think, makes it tough on people. Yeah, they lost at home to Dallas. Yes, they've had other hiccups this season that maybe, cast some negative light on them. But I also feel like, they could beat the Ravens head-to-head. They could beat some tough teams. They could take away some of your best weapons. So, we saw it again on Sunday, and, they're cooking.
All right, quadrant 2 here, man. We've got basically all saying the same, 9 through 12 here. Chargers, Broncos, Commanders, Texans, Seahawks and Bucks switch spots. Rams, Cardinals switch spots. Give me Rams above the Buccaneers. You just beat the I'm drawing a blank right now. You just beat the Buffalo Bills. Oh, dang, they made it disappear. Hold on. You just beat the Bills. You mean somebody they were below the Bucks? Put them above the Buccaneers. They still obviously have to be below the Seahawks, I feel like. Seahawks have been playing strong and looked better. I honestly probably could put the Seahawks above the Texans the way the Texans have been playing here recently. And maybe I won't go as far as putting them above the Commanders. I think I'll probably still put the Commanders above the Broncos, though. So we'll go Chargers, Commanders, Broncos, Seahawks, Texans, Rams, Bucks, Cardinals. Let me know how you guys are ranking it down below for your quadrant 2.
Absolutely. You fall behind against the Chiefs in Arrowhead. I don't care what kind of season they're having or how many close games they're playing. That's a tough environment to deal with. They lost a close one earlier in the season to the Chiefs. I know how that one played out, but they really got things going after a certain point, especially without a major run game early. I mean, they found ways to move the ball down the field. In fact, Quentin Johnston had a really nice game. We've seen some inconsistencies from him, but Joshua Palmer stepping up. Stone Smart. How about him? He looked like a pretty good-looking tight end there after some injuries at the position. So again, I mean, they've been hurt by losing guys offensively, defensively, giving up big pass plays, but they held tight in this game and were just a few plays short. And like you said, they still need that kind of big signature win to sort of prove they belong in that upper tier. That's why they sit just outside of my top 8 right now.
11 consecutive games now for Justin Herbert without the interception. To me, certainly one of the more impressive quarterbacks. And once again, I just look around that field when I see them play and I go, where's the playmaker here? Like, who's the difference maker on this team's offense? And they don't have it just yet. I say that to say good things are to come here for Harbaugh's squad over the next couple seasons or so. Sure. Time for Future Champions presented by FanDuel. Closer look at the teams favored to go and win the NFC West. The Seahawks, not a surprise here, sitting at the top. The Rams just behind them. The Cardinals, I don't know what's going on with this squad. And the San Francisco 49ers, not sticking a fork in them just yet, coming off of a win, a dominant win against the Bears.
They're in the pole position right now. The Rams will obviously have something to say about it. You know, maybe the 49ers or Cardinals can kind of rediscover their previous form. 49ers look pretty good Sunday, but still, I mean, right now, the way things are lined up, they're in a terrific position to claim this division. And Mike McDonald's first year, which, you know, after the 3-0 start, okay, made some sense. But after they lost that slew of games there and really put themselves behind the 8-ball, you weren't too sure. Sunday, no Kenneth Walker. Zach Charbonnet steps up in a big way. Geno Smith's, interceptions were getting out of control at one point. He's now had a couple games where he's really taken care of the ball. The defense has done its job. So this has been a total team effort, Mike, and I really like what I'm seeing. More of kind of what we saw earlier in the season against an easier schedule, I should say, and less with the struggles that they really endured through the kind of the second quarter of the season, if you will.
Is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Don't look now. It doesn't matter if there's injuries. It doesn't matter if there's losses. They figure out a way to try to get that pole position, as you just described, in that division. I look at the rest of the teams that are there, and I say this is theirs to take right now because of Baker Mayfield, and maybe they're getting a little bit healthy.
Man, shut up. We're going to get right soon. We're going to get us a quarterback. Maybe Cam Ward slips to us, and we'll be all right.
Here.
Yeah, and because of what Atlanta's doing too, we can't ignore that fact. They were 6-3 with a season sweep over the Bucs. It looked like Atlanta's division. Tampa has come in and kind of claimed this thing a little bit. And, Baker Mayfield, you do have to kind of ride the ups and downs a little bit. Had two kind of strange interceptions, one right in front of his face. And, it sort of put them in a little bit of a tough spot. But this was the Raiders. They did take care of business. They did find a groove. Jalen McMillan scored twice, his first touchdown since week 1. So that was a pretty good sign, and they put him away late. So, kind of like what you were saying a little bit with the Seahawks, there's something that just sort of holds me back, but there is a really good competitive spirit. And now they have their Hall of Fame receiver back, Mike Evans, Mayfield. They've got a chance. They really do. And they're looking good for a home playoff game as the NFC South potential division champs at this point. Certainly does a little bit, right? If you can have that explosive a game, probably one of the best offensive performances in the Sean McVay era, right? If you consider the opponent, the circumstances, the gotta have it nature. But they have their guys back. I mean, Puka Nacua looks like he did last year when he dominated as a rookie. Cooper Kupp looks like sort of the pre-injury version form of him, a great counterpiece. Kyron Williams running the football. And
can we talk about why you would even throw that ball, though? Did y'all see my man's in double coverage? Hold on. Let me see if I can go back to
he did last year when he dominated as a rookie. Cooper Kupp looks like sort of the
Okay, I see the window right here, right? But you clearly see this corner, eyes on. Safety's running over.
The injury version.
Look at that. My man Matthew Stafford threw an injury one-on-one ball. He threw that Derek Carr special.
Form of him, a great counterpiece. Kyron Williams running the football. And, yeah, Matthew Stafford, he's pretty good too, right? The third down conversion rate was unbelievable on Sunday. Really diced that defense. Took some risks on fourth down too. Had to make up for their own defense too, though, Mike. I mean, if we're going to talk about Buffalo giving up yards, we certainly got to do the same for the Rams. And that young D-line is up against it. But they put in a lot of energy up front to try to make people work for their points.
I knew Puka was having a big game, but check this out. First player in NFL history with at least 12 receptions, 150 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown, and 1 rushing touchdown. The guy.
But when he pull out these stats, they be so specific. The first person ever in history to use the bathroom exactly at 6:53 p.m. Like, yo, bro, he be pulling up the most random, most exact stats. Third quadrant, we managed to stay in this point of view, you know what I'm saying? But we have the 49ers jumping up 3 spots to 17. Colts, Dolphins, Falcons all dropping 1. Bengals and Cowboys swap spots. Us and the Bears swap spots to go and round that out. Go ahead and put us above the Cowboys. Bengals still looking pretty good on paper, though. They do still have a chance to, still slide in the postseason. Very slim. I think it's like if they lose this week, though, it's pretty much wraps. As for a lot of teams, I mean, Bears are the same way. I don't think the Cowboys there. We're obviously not just because of our division and who we have to play. So, I mean, there's a lot of teams that are safe, but there are a lot of teams that could be eliminated here coming up soon. That's within the last 4 weeks. So, give me... I know this might be surprising. Still give me the Colts and Dolphins above the 49ers. I'll go 49ers above Falcons, though. Give me the Bengals above the Falcons, especially on the losing streak they've been on. Give up the Saints above the Cowboys, though. And honestly, with the losing streak, I ain't even going to put us above the Falcons. So we'll go Colts, Dolphins, 49ers, Bengals, Falcons, Saints, Cowboys, Bears. There we go. That's my third quadrant 8. Let me know y'all's down below.
Time for power moves presented by Energizer. So the Niners are up 3 spots.
I don't know why.
Should I say there's a chance for them, Eric, in the postseason? The division, it feels like it's still kind of open.
Please don't say yes.
Yeah, the mathematicians in the back room are telling me there is a chance, there is a path. I haven't yet found out how that's going to work, but if they play like they did on Sunday, especially in the first half against the Bears, they can beat almost anybody down the stretch. So we'll see. I mean, it was the best half of football.
First half against the Bears, they could beat anybody? I want you to think about that statement real quick. Come back to me.
I think they've had on both sides of the ball combined in the first half. It eased off a little in the second half, but totally dominant performance. And it's just sort of a reminder, a disappointment of like, this is the team we expected this year, Mike. We just haven't seen enough of this group, even as banged up as they are.
Yeah, real buzzkill to watch the way the season was unfolded. And once again, a lot of it because of injuries.
I agree. Yeah, I was not all that impressed with the Dolphins, at least early on. I feel like they didn't show much energy against the Jets. And I understand it's a team that's having a bad season. But, it took them a while to get going. They were just sort of keeping pace with them before finally pulling ahead in overtime there. Jonnu Smith, no catches in regulation, and then becomes an overtime hero. But they got it done. They have the firepower. On certain days, their defense can be great, but you're right. This next game obviously probably means more for Houston given where they're at, but it's existential for Miami. They lose, they're pretty much done, and even as things stand, they're not looking great as far as the playoffs go right now, so need a lot of work to get done. Yeah, and I can understand not making that move prior to last week. Kirk Cousins has returned to Minnesota. It's a good veteran defense. You don't want to necessarily throw Penix in that spot and also deny Cousins that opportunity. And early on, there was some decent connections, some drives that looked like they were pretty promising, but the 2 interceptions, now a 4-game total, 0 touchdowns, 8 picks.
Jeez.
You can't have this kind of performance on offense and expect to keep your job. Penix waiting in the wings. Do they make that call? Ugh, I don't know. I think they're getting desperate, and they might have to. They're below 50% to make the playoffs right now. It might be the time.
And they were in the driver's seat in this division. And I think that's why there's some pressure right now, because it's not like the Bucs are the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Like, there's still an opportunity here, especially with some of these head-to-heads. Cincinnati, they win all their games for the rest of the season. That puts them at 9. That's not enough, right?
No, it's not enough.
I don't think so. Yeah, obviously it was a dramatic win. They finally got it done on Monday night in crazy fashion. I think that block punt recovery was probably the luckiest play they've had all season in a year of bad turns. But it's going to take a lot more, and I think they've kind of made their own bed this season with all the close losses and everything else that kind of fell apart. They're a talented team. They just haven't had it show enough this season, and it's going to cost them.
It is in a big way as we look at the rest.
All right, this is the last quadrant here. Browns, Panthers, Jets staying at their spots. Patriots up 1, Jags up 3. Titans down 2, Raiders down 1, Giants down 1. I think you probably put the I don't even know at this point. You probably leave that bottom 3 just like that. Jacksonville, Patriots, I'm cool with that. Jets like that. I would probably honestly put the Panthers above the Browns. I think the Panthers have played really, really well here, causing a lot of tight games against a lot of really good, supposed to be Super Bowl contending teams. At least move them up to the top of this 4th quadrant. So for me, Panthers, Browns, and then everything else stay the same. Let me know how you guys feel. Let me know how you guys feel about the Panthers too and Bryce Young's situation.
You gotta be kidding me here. Yeah, it's been that type of season for him. By the way, not to throw shade on another team in the tri-state area in New York City, but the Jets, considering the expectation level being eliminated, kind of a buzzkill. Like, there's some real questions heading into the offseason for this team.
Such as who's going to be the coach, who's going to be the quarterback, what else are the big changes going to be? You heard Garrett Wilson really kind of, uncork the frustration, if you will, after the game and just say, if you haven't watched us, since preseason, would you think this was a surprise the way this game went? It's been the same way almost every single week, self-inflicted mistakes left and right. Can't do and expect to win games. He understands that.
God, imagine what this was supposed to be 2 years ago. Doesn't work out like that all the time. Eric, you're the best man. Always appreciate it.
I remember everybody's so happy when they got Aaron Rodgers. Nope, this is not Brett Favre 2.0. I told y'all Aaron Rodgers ain't really like that. He's not. He's not on that same echelon and category of the Paytons, the Drews, the Toms, the Montanas. He's not up there. He's in the tier right below him. If they're in 1A, he's in 1C, not even 1B. He's in 1C. Phillip Rivers and them in 1B. But nah, let me know down below what y'all think, man, of this listing, man, and where some of you guys' teams are. Like, have you been eliminated yet? Are you looking forward to the draft? And, you know, should we talk the draft here on the channel? Like, as we're getting closer to the end of the season, should I start making videos in the off season, you know, centered around the draft? You guys want to see and hear my takes on draft content? You want to hear my takes on college football content? Let me know, because I can definitely, if I don't already know it, I'll definitely do the research on about the topic so I can become at least a somewhat expert for y'all, enough to formulate my own opinions. And we'll come back on the channel and talk about them just free form for you guys. Just do a video just talking to y'all, because we don't really do too many of those in the channel. So if y'all want to see that, let me know down below in the comment section. Of course, my team working out of that third quadrant. Hopefully we come out of there soon. I don't know who we're starting, whether it's going to be Jake or Spencer, but yeah, our season's probably pretty much done here soon. Just waiting for that elimination game, and we're gonna unfortunately be a decent team, so we're not gonna have like a top 10 pick probably. We'll probably be picking them teens again, which does suck because you don't really get to rebuild a team picking in the teens, but we'll figure it out hopefully soon, and hopefully get somebody to take over Derek Carr's job sooner or later. But I'll catch you guys in the next video. More happy things to come. Hope you guys do enjoy the video, man. Leave a like, comment, subscribe on the channel. And catch y'all next week on the next NFL video. Or if y'all doing what y'all supposed to do and watching every video, I'll catch y'all tomorrow, man. I'm going for the day. Peace.